My family hates my brother for dating someone wealthier than us, and it's tearing us apart. I, 35 female, have a younger brother, 27 male, and I've always seen him as the underdog/scapegoat of the family. He has some learning difficulties, the lowest level of college education among me and my siblings. Nothing wrong with that. And he lived at home longer than any of us. My brother has told me I'm really the only person in the family who actually believes in him and doesn't condescend to him. He said I've always been there for him and unconditionally supportive. Heck, he's told me on several occasions that I'm his favorite sibling. Haha. He started dating this girl, 26, a while ago, and I think they're a wonderful couple. They clearly love each other, and I sincerely hope it works out because she's perfect for him, and he seems perfect for her. The thing is, she and her family are far wealthier than ours, and from the beginning, I could tell our parents were a little insecure about that. He has also had a lifelong dream of being in the film industry, and she apparently has a family member with some connections. As a result, he's been consistently working on TV shows for the past year. I also know that whenever she comes over, she always brings fancy foods that are a step above what our mom is capable of cooking. And the fact that he's also the only one in the family without student debt seems to be a sore spot for our parents and siblings. His partner has an apartment in Manhattan, and she invited him to move in with her. He told us he's taking her up on the offer. Tonight we all had dinner together, minus my brother, and we talked about it. From what I could tell, my sister hates him because she's always wanted to live in the city, but doesn't have a job that could sustain that. Our other brother hates him for being able to work his dream job while he had to give his up. And our parents hate him because he now has all these opportunities that he didn't work for just because he found someone who has money. Of course, there were snarky comments about how he might only be dating her for her money and how they didn't understand why she was with him. Every time they took cheap shots at him, I tried to stand up for him but was met with pushback. By the end of the conversation, it was clear that any defense of him was not welcome and sides were being taken. Afterward, I called my brother to tell him how proud I am of him and how happy I am for him. He asked if I could come over sometime to see the new apartment, and they even invited me to stay a few days at the city. I'm already dealing with so much stress with my fiancé and my job. I seriously don't have the energy to deal with a full-on family civil war. I love my brother, and we text pretty much every day, but I also don't want to burn bridges with the rest of the family. I'm feeling frustrated, stressed, scared, and disappointed. Now for the top comments. So, as long as everyone is struggling and miserable, then all's good? But when one person finds happiness, love, and success, the family implodes? Well, I'm in camp, little bro. His girlfriend sees his worth, and if your family can't, then they don't deserve him. Sorry, but your family sounds terrible. Man, his girlfriend is beautiful and has actually done modeling for the New York Times, and my siblings seem to hate that. The fact that he's not just with someone, but someone good-looking. Honestly, I'm surprised that it's your family that has a problem with the relationship. If she's wealthier, prettier, and more educated, wouldn't it usually be her family who would have the issue? What does her family think? Are they supportive? I hope your brother isn't getting talked down to by both families. Her family loves him, lol. I've heard stories and they sound so sweet. You do realize that since your family's harmony is based on directing all their petty insecurities toward your underdog brother, once he realizes how happy he is without them in his life, they'll just look for a new scapegoat. Who do you think that will be? And why wouldn't you burn those bridges? Especially if they're already covered in thorny vines. Oh, I hate envy. My aunt and her husband were like this. They were not poor or poverty-stricken in any way. Yet they always complained about how his sister had a fancy house and a husband with lots of money. Then when great-granddad passed away, they were mad he did not have them in the will. Safe to say we do not talk anymore. After a while, you just have to be clear that if they want to be a-holes, then they will not have you in their lives. Next story. My teacher who called me stupid in high school was a patient of mine. When I was a freshman in high school, I had this teacher that absolutely hated me. She was my biology teacher who was also my homeroom teacher. I never did anything to her yet she hated me. She accused me of being on drugs one time, when I never even seen drugs in my life at that age. I just finished 8th grade going on 9th grade. I was just a tired, sleepless teenager that moved from the north to the south. Also going through my parents' divorce. I was just depressed. Everyone down here treated me badly just because I looked different. I had no friends here and I missed my friends at home. So I did really bad in high school academically that I had to take summer school. She has told me I was academically challenged, but I'm not. I was tested back in middle school. I don't have any disabilities. She even called me stupid in front of the entire class. One time I raised my hand to answer a question since no one else was raising their hand, and she was so persistent on getting someone to answer, and I got the answer right and she said, "Wow guys, even Jane Doe got this right. You guys should have known the answer." Anyways, fast forward more than a decade now. I'm a nurse. For a long time, my high school teachers made me start to believe I was stupid. I wasn't. I ended up doing well in college. I just had a tough childhood. I was depressed. I went through a lot during my teenage years. Last week, my former teacher from high school came into the clinic I work at, and I took her vitals and got her ready to see the doctor. She didn't recognize me. I look very different, obviously, and I got married, so I changed my last name. When I told her my first and last name that she knows me by, and I told her I was in her class, her eyes widened and she was shocked. She remembered me. She actually looked like she was excited to see me. She told me she was proud of me and said she never thought in a million years that I would be her nurse. She joked to me and said, "I would have thought you made it as receptionist if I ever imagined running into you at a clinic wearing scrubs," and she started laughing. I didn't think that was funny. Quite offensive, actually. I was a receptionist for some time and I hated it. They deal with more crap than doctors and nurses do. Anyways, my former teacher is still a bit LOL. In college, my pre-law advisor told me I should probably rethink going to law school because there wasn't any way I'd be successful. I graduated in 2019, high honors, passed the bar exam in the top 5%, and have been licensed since 2019. Thankfully, I don't even remember her name, but if I did, I'd send her my business card. Well, heck, they let an uneducated a-hole like you be a teacher, so I guess anything is possible. Way to kick ass, OP. Congrats on not letting the bastards grind you down. It's so crazy. I've had so many terrible teachers like her in high school. You would think teachers would be more compassionate with teaching the next generation, but that's not even one of the worst things a teacher did or said to me. Good on you for having the strength to get past her and others' treatment and ignorance. My mom was a nurse too, specialized in anesthesia. She sucked at math, and she often told me how she'd met her old math teacher, and the look on horror on his face when she said she was working as a nurse in anesthesia. That specialty has a lot of math. The way she explained it, math became a lot easier for her when there was actual factors to deal with, instead of imagined ones. She didn't just make it as a nurse, she was an extremely good one, to a level where her nurse and doctor co-workers often requested her for when their own family needed treatment. The best part about that story? The fact that she told it once more to my friend who dreamed of becoming a nurse, but had been called too stupid to ever learn by her math teacher, and it was a big burden on her mentally. She did go to a different school for the last year and found a math teacher who managed to teach her the subject in a way that made sense to her. But she was still very scared of failing the nurse education. She didn't fail, and she's a nurse today. 10 years ago, she told me she'd have never started that route if it wasn't for me telling her she wasn't stupid, and my mom telling her the same, including that story. Next story. We lost all our friends when one couple divorced. For over a decade, my spouse and I were part of a tight-knit group of 6 couples. We went through a lot of life together. New careers, struggles with getting pregnant, multiple childbirths, and a severe cancer scare. Through it all, we shared everything, expressed our gratitude for one another, and joked about how we'd be 85 years old, still playing poker together at the nursing home. It was great, until it wasn't. Cracks started to show in one couple's marriage, which led to an affair, which led to a divorce. As this divorcing couple tried to pick up the pieces, my spouse and I tried to lend a listening ear and a supportive hand to each of them. These were our friends. Regardless of whose fault it was, they both deserved the human decency of care through the most difficult time in their lives, or so we thought. Nobody told us the unwritten rule. You're supposed to choose sides in a divorce. That's what everyone else did. 2 couples sided with the husband, the other 2 with the wife. And the divorcing couple, they both assumed we were on the other one's side. So in the end, we were on neither side. Now the friend group is split, and no one talks to the other side. We had 10 best friends for life, and now we don't. It's not like anyone ever had this conversation with us directly. It just happened gradually. We stopped being invited to things. Requests to meet for lunch went unanswered. Texts went ignored, but they still feign friendship. They still like our Instagram posts. They say an obligatory thanks in response to a happy birthday text. But nothing proactive. No one reaches out. And no one has ever been honest with us. We've just had to piece the truth together over time. I just think the whole thing is stupid. I've tried to move on. We've made some new friends and reinvested in other areas of our lives. But every once in a while, late at night, I think about the whole situation and it just ticks me off. One couple got divorced, our closest friends ghosted us, and I'm just done with it. Now for the comments. Same here. Pardon me for still loving both, but especially for trying to support the one who got cheated on. It wasn't enough for either of them. We've lost contact with both, and the friend group no longer does group things together, just occasional couple pairs. It bites. Definitely frustrating, and sorry you've experienced that too. Divorce definitely splits up more than just 2 people. With cheating specifically, that stings though. Why should the cheater not face any consequences from their friends? If any of my friends were cheaters, I'd honestly be rethinking the friendship. To me, that's a cardinal sin. What a shame. A very difficult situation with emotions running high. I suppose at this point, you're feeling too hurt to try to work things out through direct communication. It would entail picking a side since the attempt to stay neutral didn't work. That would mean meeting with one person you felt closest to in an attempt to clear the air. But with so much hurt already caused, do you think you could move past it? If not, it may be best to just cut contact entirely, especially on social media, so you're not constantly seeing photos of get-togethers and outings where you were not included. Divorce, death, and perhaps the later introduction of a new partner often change group dynamics. You're definitely right about social media. I should mute those people because whenever I see posts of them getting together, talking about how they are their best friends for life, etc., it definitely saddens me. I think a complicating aspect is that my wife feels much more connected to the new group of friends we have, and I'm happy for her. But it also means she's not that motivated to try to go back and resolve issues that, at this point, are a few years old with the old friend group. While I am friends with the spouses of the new group, it does feel more like a friends because the wives are friends situation. Thank you for your thoughts and kindness. Last story. My stepdad's affair was finally exposed and I'm being blamed. To explain, I'm 21 male and my stepdad has been with my mom since I was 10 years old. When I was 14, I had a dental appointment during the school day, so my mom took me. While we were in town, we saw my stepdad helping a woman out of his car before he kissed her. I was floored. A few days later, my mom came to me and told me that he had come clean, confessed, but that they were going to stay together, and I needed to keep it a secret. I obliged and kept it a secret from my 2 siblings, and even from my stepdad, who had no idea that I knew. Fast forward to now. My brother, 29 male, came home and told us that his engagement was off because he found out his fiancée cheated on him. We all consoled him. Later, at a community church event, my stepdad told him that if he really loved her, he'd move past it and that he was being very immature about real adult relationships. My sister, who overheard this, got mad and told him that, of course he'd defend cheating, being the cheater he is. He was shocked, and unfortunately, she said it in front of one of the church aunties, and if you know how much they love gossip, you can see where this is going. My mom was mad at me, thinking that I was the one who told my sister, and she said that my stepdad's reputation was ruined. I got really angry, and all the pent-up frustration from years of holding on to this secret came out. I told her that forcing me to keep a secret for years was really messed up, and I asked how she could even stay married to such a horrible man. I told her that I would never condone something like that from a partner, along with other things I'd rather not repeat. For the record, I didn't tell my sister. I have no idea how she found out or how much she knows. But now my stepdad is telling me to apologize to my mom, saying I was way out of line. At this point, I'm just mentally done with all of this. I know I shouldn't have been as harsh as I was, but they really don't understand how much of a burden this has been for me too. No, this was not your secret to carry, especially not at that age and for that long. It was your mom's choice to stay and hide his secret. She should apologize to you for making you hide it. I think I needed to hear this, because even a few days later, I still feel slightly guilty. Thank you very much. Cheating always comes to light eventually. The source of the information is irrelevant. Religious families love to keep that stuff a secret to save the family image. It doesn't work. Either people figure it out on their own, or someone eventually cracks and slips up. Sometimes that takes years, but eventually, what goes around comes around. If I were you, I would just keep repeating, "This is your problem, not mine, and this really has nothing to do with me," because it doesn't. It was nice to hear this, and I think I needed it. Divorce is very taboo in our culture, and while I understood my mom's perspective, I just couldn't believe that it somehow ended up on me in the end. Thank you for your kind words. Your stepdad was out in town in broad daylight flaunting his floozy, and he didn't think people would see and talk? He's a special kind of special, and not in an endearing way. Your sister probably heard from 10 different sources. Edit. For everyone asking, I am currently back at university. Thank you for all your messages, whether good or bad. When I next go home, I plan on talking to my whole family. But for now, I think I should give everyone a little space to cool down. I'll update when I go home and find out what happened myself too. Again, thank you all.